this is Joyce Pellino Crane. I'm the news director at WestfordCAT, and I'm here today speaking with a special guest. Her name is Shamim Bhindarwala. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Thank you. From Westford, and we're talking about the recent massacre in New Zealand. 50 Muslims were killed inside 2 different mosques. And Shamim is Muslim, and so I wanted to speak with her about how she felt when she heard this news. And she wants me to emphasize that she's not speaking for the Muslim community, she's speaking for herself. But Shamim, I think it would be very interesting to hear your thoughts on this massacre in New Zealand where 50 people died inside 2 mosques.
Well, to begin with, it is sad. I actually heard about it through one of my colleagues from an interfaith book club that I belong to. So she sent us a message saying, I'm sorry to hear this, and and then I was like, oh wow, what happened? And I went, on the web, and then listened to the news on my way to work. And it's just, it's disheartening, and it feels, and at that point I wasn't even thinking that it's Muslims who are getting killed. I was just thinking, here is another group of people who have been killed for no reason.
Right.
This person decided to just go randomly, or well, not randomly, I mean, he had a plan in his mind, go and shoot a bunch of people. They died doing prayers.
He was so organized, he had a live Facebook presentation
right, yeah.
on it.
So obviously he had a plan, and he had what he wanted to do. But looking from the victim's point of view, it's like no reason. It's like just for being Muslims. This is like, it happens to Christians, it happens to Jews, it happens to Muslims. So, like, what the world has come to.
Right.
And when is it going to stop?
Who's left?
Who's left?
Yeah.
For
who's left to hate?
This belief.
Yes.
That there is some other who is not good enough for this planet. But I don't know who is going to be left after all these other people are gone. And it's just very, it's kind of bothers you in your back of your mind. And I got messages the whole day from a lot of the interfaith folks, because I'm involved in interfaith. And even one of my neighbors, we're very good friends, and she happens to be a Jew, she sent me a message. She's like, here we go, another one. And it is just so, it's like you can't do anything about it. But you feel helpless in some sense.
What does it mean for you to be a Muslim?
Good question. Well, I was born, brought up, live as a Muslim. So I think for me, being a Muslim is just part of my life. I don't think I consciously distinguish between being a Muslim or being not a Muslim at certain parts of the day or month or year. I think I do a lot of secular activities too, but as a Muslim. So being a Muslim is just a part of us. I don't think I can't like really, I don't know, separate it out.
Yeah,
separate
it's
it
ingrained.
Yeah, it's just ingrained in us.
You're wearing, your clothing is Muslim clothing, correct?
Yes, it's part of the clothing. So this clothing is worn by members of our community only, and so that's the Dowdy Boras.
That's the what?
They're called Dowdy Bora. So we wear this all around, wherever you are in the world, you would wear this. Some wear all the time, like they would wear it to work or grocery shopping or anything. Some would wear it going to the mosque or religious events, but may not wear it to the grocery store.
Right.
So it depends on people, what they choose to do.
What do you do?
I wear it all the time. I did not wear it all the time before, but now I wear it all the time.
Since when? Since how recently did you start doing it?
I started wearing it maybe 2005. I started wearing it everywhere but to work. I did not wear it at work. And then recently, since last year, I started wearing it at work too. I had made a promise to myself in some sense that if I ever change jobs, I will start wearing it to work. And I changed jobs and I started wearing it to work.
And so what do you do? Does your employer say anything, or
Yeah.
it's perfectly okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a software engineer. I've been wearing it. Some of my friends wear it all the time. My daughters wear it all the time. My daughters have always worn it all the time, even through the Westford High School.
They wore it to Westford Academy.
Yeah, to Westford Academy. And a lot of people recognize me in town because of that. They come up to me and say, "Oh, you are Asma's mom, or you're Tasneem's mom." So.
Did they go to prom dressed? Did they go to prom and dressed in this type of garb? Just a little fancier, I suppose.
Yeah. They took out their fanciest ones.
Yes, I think I have a memory probably of your daughters. I took pictures. I try to always take pictures.
Yeah, you must have taken prom pictures. Yeah, on the center.
Yeah. You go to a mosque in Billerica.
Yes.
What is the name of that mosque?
So the mosque is called, could be masjid. We refer to mosque as masjid. Masjid is the correct term in some sense, based on the Arabic version of it. And so the masjid is named as could be masjid, but the congregation is Anjuman-e-Isi.
Right.
So a lot of the interfaith community knows us as Anjuman-e-Isi of Boston. How
big is the interfaith community? Because you've mentioned it a few times.
So in Billerica, there's a Billerica interfaith group. So the mosque or the masjid is part of the Billerica interfaith. I personally, me and Moise,
Moise, your husband,
my husband,
who is a board member at the mosque.
At the mosque, but we both had been involved in the Westford interfaith.
Yes.
Because the Billerica interfaith community is recent. Westford interfaith has been there for years.
Yes.
So thanks to Shoshana Perry, we both had been not as much as the Anjuman, the congregation involvement, but just personally we were involved in the interfaith, and we still attend. If we can, we try to attend the Thanksgiving services.
I try to attend it myself every year. And I should just mention that we're talking about Rabbi Shoshana Perry, who heads Temple Shalom in Chelmsford.
Yep.
So I actually have, many years ago, I went to it for the first time. I think this might have been the first or second time. And I was there to cover it for the local newspaper. And Moise and Reverend Peter Quinn were sitting next to each other, and they had candles. It was this year Shoshana handed out candles at the and there was I got a picture of the two of them connecting with, with the candles, holding the candles in their hands and looking at each other. It was really one of my favorite pictures ever.
Yeah, he probably remembers. He knows the folks a lot more than I do.
Yes. Well, he landed on the front page that year.
Yes.
So your children are grown, but they're also practicing Muslims. Are they nearby?
No, my older daughter lives in Cleveland at the moment. She used to live in New York, and now she's moved to Cleveland for a year. And then my younger daughter lives in London.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
Wow.
And because they both are married, and that's where
they landed.
they took them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that happens. So do your daughters work as well?
Yes, both of them work, yeah.
Yeah.
They, my older one is a public health professional.
Oh,
So
wow.
she's a consultant at a firm in New York, but she works from Cleveland. And my younger one is working and studying to become a lawyer.
So when do you travel back to India occasionally?
Oh no, not occasionally. I travel almost every year.
Almost every year.
Yeah, because my parents still live in India.
Yes.
So we try to go. I try to go every year, at least once a year. Sometimes it happens more than that.
Yeah.
Depending on how much vacation I have.
Yeah, that's great. So do you have siblings back there too?
No, my siblings live in this country.
Oh, okay.
One lives in Connecticut, one in California.
Okay. So getting back to the reason for, the impetus for this interview, if you could talk to that community of people, what would you tell them?
The community of the people who think we are, or they seem to hate us. That's what you mean?
I mean the people who were so callously murdered. If you could speak with them now.
I think what I would like to tell people that one is always afraid of the other. If you don't know something, you're always going to be afraid of it.
That's true.
Even I am.
Right.
But once you get to know that, that person, that community, that individual, you may find that they are not exactly that different from you. I mean, a lot of the people that I've met in interfaith work had never met a Muslim before. And once they got to know us and they found out, and then when we discuss things and we would talk about it, and said, oh, we do the same thing, just slightly different. So fundamentally, we may belong to different religions, but all those religions teach the same thing. And all those religions say, tolerate others. You can have differences, and you can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong in that. But there is no such thing as a bad person or a bad religion. There might be people who might make it bad, but that doesn't mean that the religion is bad or the practitioners of those religions are all bad. It's all of them. I mean, yes, it's become standard that if one Muslim does something, it's a big thing. All Muslims are terrorists. Obviously, when Christian people do it, in this country at least, it doesn't get said that all Christians are terrorists.
Right, because Christians are the majority.
Because the majority.
Yeah.
So it's because the Muslims are minority in a lot of places where these things happen. Yes, it gets blamed and everybody gets looked at with those eyes. But I wish more people would go out and seek to learn about this other people or other religions, and not just learn the hateful things. There are a lot of good things too. Most of us especially for us, like the Dowdy Boras, one of the things that our high priest emphasizes on, really emphasizes on, that the land that you live in, follow the laws of that land. Do not go against the laws of that land. and do not go against the people of that land. So like, you do not want to do something that is going to be harmful to where you are. You want to be part of that society. So be accepting and be accepted, kind of thing. And just like everywhere, there are people who are fanatics and radicals and things. Of course, there are Muslims who are like that, but that doesn't mean that everybody is like that. But I think everybody gets blamed like that. And I think now it's almost also at the point, like, sometimes I feel like that it's people are getting desensitized.
That's the frightening part. Yeah.
It's like, you know how at one point, like, like years back on TV when there were violent shows, like people were like, oh my God, you can't have children sitting through this, and everything would be like, you know, censored. And now, like, the amount of police shows and the crime shows are on TV, everybody's so desensitized to it. And I think, I feel like that's what's happening.
Well, and they're playing computer games that are very...
So violent, yes.
Very violent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I faced it as a mother. My children are grown as well and, you know, doing fine. But there were a few years where it was really, really hard to know how to handle some of the software that I saw on being played with on the computer. It wasn't something I liked.
Yeah. So I think that would be really unfortunate.
Yeah.
That we get desensitized to this thing and it becomes like normal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll ever feel normal or that it, you know, is commonplace, but desensitized, I think that can happen.
In the interfaith community, this is getting discussed quite a bit, like even on Facebook, all the, you know, people, but Facebook and social media. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I mean, like, even at my work, nobody would discuss this because it doesn't affect them personally.
Right.
So there's this, there are people who will get affected, but then there's like, you don't have anybody to talk to because you're not on the same wavelength. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what the solution is.
I'm just sitting here.
I wonder if anybody knows.
Yeah, I think what you have to have is faith through everything, throughout everything. And those who do have faith are very fortunate.
Yes.
I don't know, is that you?
I mean, I do have faith that eventually people will come to senses. Mm-hmm. Eventually people will realize that this is, and I don't know if the last couple of years in this country, because of the way the politics of this country are, it's kind of exaggerated. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't see the leaders of this country coming out and trying to change the discourse.
Pacify, appease.
Pacify and peace. So that might also be part of this reason, and I hope that will change over time.
Yes.
And, you know, clearer minds will prevail or whatever.
Yes.
But I mean, I do have faith in some sense in my own that in one sense I do have faith that yes, nothing will happen to me and my children, but then sometimes I feel like, well, all those people must also have that same faith, but still things happen to them.
But still, well, I think that having faith means that you walk courageously and know that something could happen.
Yes.
And and your faith will carry you through that as well.
I hope so.
You know, I'm a lapsed Catholic, but you know, I know what the tenets of the religion are, and I'm wondering if there's something similar. I mean, you know, forgiveness is such an important part of Catholicism, and turn the other cheek. You know, in other words, don't fight back, and
yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. That like, if you look at all those religions, right? The basic tenets are exactly the same.
There's always a prophet.
There's always a prophet. We all believe in one God.
Yeah.
We all, I mean, you know, the 10 Commandments, like a lot of the 10 Commandments apply to all of us.
Yeah.
It's not just for, you know,
Christians,
the Jewish population.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and just like what I was saying, that like, you know, we're told not to break laws of the country, even if, because in certain situations you could be faced with, like, you know, whether is this legal to do? Well, your religion is asking you to do this, but is it legal to do?
Right.
And but you shouldn't break the law of the country.
That's number one.
That's number one.
Yeah.
And so, you know, hurting somebody, or could it possibly be any religion telling you to do that, in my opinion?
No.
And I mean, Islam definitely doesn't tell you that. You can put whatever interpretation you want to, you know, certain verses of the Quran and then use that.
Right.
But I don't believe there is any such real interpretation.
Right. I understand what you're saying. So I think we're going to wrap up. I just want to give you a chance to, if you could talk to Westford residents, and what would you want to tell them about the situation?
I think Westford is a pretty, from what I see on social media and stuff, I think it's a pretty supportive community.
Yes. They used to call themselves a peaceable town, which it was a word I'd never even heard of before, a peaceable town, but I think that's very descriptive.
I wish I had more time to get involved in, you know, the local stuff, but I don't. But I think it's nice to be in a town where you are not picked upon.
Right.
Because of your dress. I mean, I feel comfortable walking in and out of Market Basket or anywhere else. You know, nobody ever. Most people just comment to me saying, "Oh, that's very beautiful. Where did you get it from?" Mm-hmm. So it's nice to be in a town like that, and I encourage people to go and, you know, find things on Islam. And there are a lot of Muslims in town, actually. One of my book group colleague, she had done some sessions in the library, come know your Muslim friends or Muslim neighbors, something like that.
Oh.
It was very well attended, and maybe she'll do more. But, I mean, reach out to us. I think most of the clergy in town know us, one way or other. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind, both me and Moise, or even people from the mosque would not mind going and, you know, educating people about who we are.
That's wonderful. That would be a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah. We did a lot of it right after 9/11.
Yeah.
But then, you know, those times were different.
Yes.
But I think that's the only way I can think of educating others, and, you know,
bringing them together.
Yeah, bring people together, mm-hmm. and also make them understand. I mean, of course, you know, we are the minority. We are from a lot of us are immigrants, so it's not necessary that everybody would know who we are and why we dress this way or why we do certain things.
They wouldn't necessarily know. Yeah.
Not necessarily. But we are there to, if people want to know, we have resources. We have people who will come and do everything and explain and talk about it. So I encourage, I mean, that's my message, that if you know, the local organizations, if they would host events where they would ask Muslims to come and give talks, or if people have questions, come and ask openly.
I love the idea of the gathering at the library.
Right.
If I hear about that and I can go, I would love to go.
Yeah, if it happens next time, I'll definitely
again.
let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the only way to go forward, in my opinion.
Knowledge, education, getting closer to each other. Shamim, you were very brave to come on today with me. I know it was your first time on camera, and I very much appreciate that you did this.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
I was so happy to give you the opportunity. So we'll maybe we'll see you in a bigger group sometime.
Yes,
and,
hopefully.
And teaching us about your religion and exchanging ideas with each other.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. For WestfordCAT News, this is Joyce Pellino Crane. See you around town.